Let go to the sun. We're live again.
Okay, family,
Hey,
how you doing,
people.
family? How
We're
you doing?
live. We're live.
How you doing, family?
Yes.
This is King Talk Live on a Wednesday night at 6:30. What is it now? It's 6:31.
31 p.m.
6:31.
Eastern
6:31.
Standard Time.
And this is King Talk on Wednesday 24th. Wednesday the 24th, as we said that we were coming in at this particular time. So I'm gonna let this play out for a little bit. I have my esteemed co-host here,
Yeah.
Cortez Ransom, and our esteemed returning guest, Kimberly Truesdale.
Yes, Miss Kimberly Truesdale.
And I am Alex Iowas. So, we're waiting on two more people to come in here, family, like right now. So,
Yeah.
and we're just so happy to be here.
And if anybody pops in here, please share, like, and share.
Most
And
definitely.
hit that thumbs up button.
Yes, yes.
We would like to say that we do not own this music. Do not come after us. This is the
You
Rotary
ain't gonna get
Connection.
none.
I am the
I ain't
black
got no
hole of
money.
the
You ain't gonna
sun.
get none.
Don't come and get us.
You'll get lint out of my pocket because I don't got no money.
Shout out to that one family member that's out there.
Yes, somebody out there. Yes.
Yes, yes.
Shout out to that one family member that's out there right now. Thank you for joining us on King Talk. Let me go ahead and turn this music down.
Yes, I just saw Kenya respond, so hopefully she'll come up in here.
Right.
Definitely. And
Yes.
maybe also Sister Content as well as Brother Doshawn. This has
Right.
been a crazy week. Well, haven't they all been lately? Crazy
Yes,
week.
they
With all
have.
the
They
stuff
have been.
going on, these mass shootings going on, and
Two of them to be exact.
yeah, and of
Mm-hmm.
course,
Two
and
of
we, of course, the perpetrators of both of a certain persuasion
them.
that does not
Yes.
look like us. I'll just say that much.
They don't look like us at
So,
all.
yeah, but we're always the ones called a threat, or they want to put that moniker on us that we're a so-called threat, which is a bunch of bull. And they make excuses for uh, gunning down black folks when they are supposedly suspected of certain things, even when we don't have weapons on us. But you have these Caucasian folks that are strapped down to the gills with weapons, and somehow they're always taken in alive.
Mm-hmm.
They're always taken in alive, even though they have weapons all over them. They're taken in alive without a scratch. And sometimes they're taken to Burger King after they went on a shooting spree. I guess there was a reward for killing black people in a church. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, I don't know what to say about this because it keeps happening and it's being overlooked. They don't want to do anything to keep these assault weapons and so forth out of people's hands, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which they need to do that. They need to put something in place because your regular everyday people, so-called everyday people, do not need access to those automatic weapons, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that should be suspicious if it's a regular everyday person going to get an automatic weapon. What do you need that for?
Right.
Right? They should be asked, what do you need that weapon for? If you're not in the military or whatever, or in so-called law enforcement, unlawful enforcement, you
Mm-hmm.
don't you don't need those automatic weapons where you can just pick a couple of people off in seconds. You know,
Right.
so something definitely needs to be put into place to stop that from
Most
those people.
definitely. Shout out to the two family members that are here. But one just left.
Hmm.
Uh, but shout out to that one that is watching right now. Thank you for being with us here on King Talk tonight. Thank you for the one that just came in. Um, that sort of a thing. Oh, that's Marcus Smoot. How you doing, brother Marcus Smoot?
What's up,
Thank
Marcus
you for
Smoot?
being
What's up,
thank you
Mr.
for
Smoot?
being with us tonight. Here, I'm just gonna type that in. You know, just to
Welcome
thank you,
back,
brother, for
Mr.
being
Marcus
here.
Smoot. I remember he was there
Uh-huh.
with us for the impromptu we did last
Uh-huh.
year.
He sure
Yeah,
was. He came through and shared, some of his, you know, thoughts and opinions and that sort of a thing. We just want to say shout out to that brother right there. We also want to say to thank you for the family. King Talk is above 300 followers now. We just got above 300 followers. So I
yeah.
just want to thank the family for the support. Thank you for support. We need that here, at King Talk. To
Uh,
continue to bring this to y'all, to bring of empowerment, to bring solution, healing up and down the line. So thank you, family, for that. King Talk is above 300 followers on our King Talk page on Facebook. We just got above 300 followers, and we're just, we're celebrating everything. We're celebrating every milestone here at King Talk because I remember when we didn't even have 50 followers.
right. And we need you to
So
go. We need you to please go on over to the YouTube page and hit like and subscribe over there. Subscribe to the King Talk page as well.
right, I
And
was
while you're
just
on YouTube, I'm going to give myself a shameless plug. And while you're on YouTube, subscribe to King Talk.
mhm,
Subscribe to the C Note while you're over there too. I'm just saying.
right.
But
Head on head on over to the King Talk page on YouTube, family, and like
Yep.
and subscribe there as well. I think we
Yep.
only got like 5 subscribers there. So we're hurting for subscribers there on our YouTube page, family. So go on ahead and head over. I'm going to be posting, a lot of our videos. Here's the sister Kenya. We're going to
yeah.
add her as well.
So how was everybody's week?
Hey, sister Kenya Chase.
Hello.
Hey,
Hey.
Hey,
hey, hey, how you doing? Good seeing you again.
I'm good.
And if somebody could mute their phones, because that's like I've been seeing like where that's like a problem with the phones,
okay.
not being muted. I think mine's is. I had mine's on silent. So if anybody out there, doesn't have their phone muted, go ahead and unmute their phones, please. And we could do a check-in as my esteemed co-host Cortez Ransom was, trying to do. We
Yeah.
could do a check-in and just ask,
Yeah. How was everybody's week?
how's everybody doing?
How y'all doing?
I'm good. I'm a little achy from this rain, but other than that, I'm okay.
All right, good.
Okay. Good.
I'm
Good.
doing good as well. I keep going in and out because my daughter wants to join live right now, so I keep blinking the cameras. She would come on and say hello to everyone. So
Oh,
Cadence says hello.
Baby
Mm-hmm.
Cadence wants to come on and say hello.
She comes saying, "I would get on that spot like stopping the camera."
Right. Like I said, if anybody has their phone that's not on silent or on mute, go ahead and mute your phones. That sort of thing, because we keep getting like these little disturbances, that kind of take away from the overall, it takes away from the overall message that we're really trying to put
But
out
if
here on King Talk.
if
So,
if I said to you, I'm looking for a dope such and such, a dope cinematographer or a dope editor,
Wait,
what would that mean to you?
who are you? Who are you? Who
Any
are
of
you?
you, any of you.
oh, it will be muted.
Repeat your question again.
If I were to say to you that I was looking for a dope cinematographer or an editor for my film, what would that mean to you when I say I'm looking for a dope editor or cinematographer?
Okay, I get it now. Because somebody who's nice, somebody who's skilled,
Yeah,
somebody who's very
exactly.
very good at what it
Yeah,
is that they're doing.
definitely.
Well, I posted in like three or four groups on Facebook that are supposedly specifically for Black filmmakers, and
Mhm.
because one was called Real Black Filmmakers and the other was Black Filmmakers Group, and I said I was seeking, you know, dope Black filmmakers, cinematographer slash editor, and this
Okay.
person responded like, "What in the world would you want somebody on dope for? Uh,
What?
that's a strange request," and blah blah blah. Something else he said. I'm like, huh? I responded back. I typed back, huh? I'm like, I didn't say anything about somebody on dope. I said I'm looking for a dope
Oh my.
cinematographer slash, and I said that just simply means I'm looking for somebody who's excellent at what they do, who has skills. And
Yeah.
later on, I clicked on the person's picture.
Glasses.
It was it was some old Caucasian man. He was,
Oh.
it was some old Caucasian man, even though it was a group that's named Real Black Filmmakers, you
Right.
know. And that was
Okay.
just hilarious to me. Hilarious. I'm like, I didn't say anything about want somebody on dope. Why would I say that? You know,
That's
Right.
funny.
that was
So
hilarious.
I was about to say, is anybody using a phone instead of a computer?
I'm
I'm
on
using
my
my
I'm
phone
phone.
right
using my phone.
now.
Okay, so last week, I mean, the last time I was on it, I was using my phone, and that's why it was making noise for me. So I don't know if it's because of phone versus computer. I'm not too sure. So when I had switched, that little noise had stopped. I don't know if it's that little interference on a phone rather than a computer. So I don't know. I'm just saying that because that's what happened to me last time I was on here. I had to switch over to my computer because my phone kept giving up feedback.
Right. So
Oh,
did
okay.
you? Let me ask you something, Sister Kimberly Truesdale. Did you turn your phone off, or did you put it on silent? What did you do?
My phone went on silent, but then I hopped on my laptop because I guess it gives for better streaming and it doesn't give like little interferences. So that's why, cause I know the last time I was on here, I had my phone and I was the one making all the feedback noise because I was trying to figure out what was going on. And then it does say that it does better on a computer rather than a phone. So I don't know if anybody have access to switch over just yet, but that may be why the noise is like coming in.
Right, because I it just keeps coming in like this little thing, almost like this little like echo. Here, let me log out of. I was up on Facebook. I'm just put on here and logged out of Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
That sort of thing. Because it's that here. Let me wait a minute. I'm not hearing anything now. But you notice that it does like happen. It just keeps
Yeah,
happening. That sort of thing. We are live on
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
YouTube. We're live on YouTube right now. So I'm not hearing anything now. Well, there it is again. So let me see if I can just come up out of YouTube. Let me just close all of this and let me see what happens now.
And Miss K, you said you were on a phone or computer.
I'm on my phone,
Okay.
Right.
but I
So
don't have like I don't hear anything. Like I hear all of y'all perfectly well.
right, but it's just this little disturbance that comes in, that sort of thing. It's coming in, and what it does is it breaks up the continuity of the conversation. And so that's why I was saying if somebody, his phone is not on, mute
Yeah, my
or
phone is.
on silent, go ahead and take your phone and put it on mute or silent so that it doesn't always detract away from where the conversation is going. So, and I know I had mine on silent, to where there's like no sound coming in or coming through, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
But we can go into the current events. We were just kind of like touching on that just a little bit as far as the mass shootings that
Yeah.
have happened. We did have a mass shooting in Atlanta, I believe. That was 8 people
Mhm.
that died in that. It was six uh, Oriental people, and then of course there were two Caucasian people that died. Of course, it was perpetrated by a Caucasian man, that sort of thing. And then Uh, and then we had a shooting in Colorado, followed right on the heels
Mm-hmm.
of the one in followed right on the heels of the one that was in Atlanta. This one happened in Colorado. It happened at a supermarket in Colorado, if I'm not mistaken. 10 people died in that, and that was also perpetrated. When you went and watched the video, they were leading this Caucasian man out. He was in shorts. He had nothing else on. He was just in shorts, barefoot, bloodied. That sort of a thing. He killed 10 people in that, and so what we have is we definitely have a narration that's going on as far as stop the Asian hate. I'm pretty sure
Mm.
you guys have seen that, stop the Asian
Mm-hmm.
hate. And we understand that what they do is they try to roll out, our people into these, get us entangled all up into these narrations that really truly don't have anything to do with us, because we are not perpetrating hate individually or collectively towards Oriental people or Asian people. We
Mhm.
understand that we understand where the consistent attacks have come from, as far as the group of people who constantly perpetrate these types of violent types of attacks, specifically because of the last two that just happened, and what they're literally, most of the time, at least 95% of the time, is perpetrated by a Caucasian male who just somehow, in a sense, loses their grip on reality and figures, well, I'm just going to go out and I'm just going to commit barbarism on other groups of people, other phenotypes of people. So, if y'all wanted to, build on that, because that's what builds into our what our conversation is, how mental and emotional health is vital to our growth as a people. That's what the title of this particular episode of King Talk, this segment of King Talk is. So if y'all want to be on that, y'all definitely can. Um,
Okay.
Uh, oh, go ahead.
You want to say something, Kimberly?
Yeah, I was gonna say a small thing. I was gonna say that it's interesting that you bring this up because dealing with white terrorism, um, or white supremacy, as people call it, it brings upon trauma from generation to generation. And to imagine us as the African American community have dealt with that for over how many years, it's traumatic, and it's been in our bloodline, quote unquote, for over 500 plus years, and we're still going through it. It's called generational trauma. And so when we think about, white terrorism and white supremacy, that it has been reigning that long, and look at how it's done on our emotional health and well-being. And now, like you say, you bring it up, it happened to the Asian community. It's not the first instance that has happened, because them, with the Vietnam War and things of that nature. So now that it's beaming Asian hate, I saw a post that said, "Call it like it is." It's really stop white supremacy, stop white terrorism. That's the real post. And so it was interesting that you brought that point up, and about how you are linking current events to what's going on in generational trauma.
Mm-hmm.
right, because we realize that the the narrations that I see that we constantly getting caught up into as a people don't really serve our purpose, as far as our own empowerment at all, in my opinion, and what I've been seeing, and we're constantly getting caught up in these in these narrations that really truly don't empower us at all as a people. Just like just to bring up another, as far as the current events is concerned, just to bring up another uh thing that happened was, there was a young brother who was going to a Catholic school, and this was he was 11 years old. He was going to a Catholic school, and one of the headmasters at the Catholic school became upset with him. One of the teachers became upset with him. Then, of course, he was turned over to the headmaster, and the headmaster made the young brother bow down. He made him kneel before the teacher
mm,
who he uh who he supposedly offended, and made him apologize in a very, very, very humiliating type of way, and a very, very humiliating type of a fashion. So we understand
mm,
that the attacks on our psyche as a people continue to happen, that sort of a thing. So it's what I just wanted to bring that to light, because when I went to put that on Facebook, that of course got no type of, you know, they got no type of, response. So I feel collectively, individually and collectively as a people, that where we are as far as where our attention, where I feel where our attention should, or should we say our concern should be, it's not there. It's in a sense it's
mm,
lacking, that sort of
mhm,
a thing. So I just wanted to point that out, because what the mother was saying is that the young brother he's 11 years old. He went through this horrendous, humiliating experience, and now she's saying that he's has he's got a mentality now. He's got something, you know, what some people would say would be likened unto a complex, because of what had happened to him.
he's
That
mentally
sort of
troubled.
thing.
He's
So,
mentally troubled because of what that teacher did to him, making him bow down like a dog and so forth like that. And that's one of the reasons why, because you still got a lot of racist teachers out here. So another reason why I feel like we need to be having our own schools and so forth, because we keep subjecting our babies to this behavior from crazy Caucasians, with their inferiority complex, not
mhm.
supremacy, but inferiority, because that's what basically it is. Because if they really truly believe that they were better, they wouldn't be acting like this. People who know that they're better or so-called better, um, would not be going out of their way to try to destroy another people. You only try to destroy another people because you're not confident in your own self and your own ability. They know, they know who truly is the best. And that's why they keep trying to destroy us. That's why they wouldn't leave us alone when we built successful towns like Black Wall Street and Rosewood and Allenstown, California, where Allensworth, California, where in the early 1900s there was a successful black town, and they couldn't stand the fact that the town became successful, so they poisoned the water system in that town to kill some of the black people or to harm the black people. They couldn't stand the fact that these black folks came together and built a successful town together, so they had to try to destroy that. Uh, that's not a people who really believes that they're better. If you're better, you don't have a desire. If you think that you're really better, you don't have a desire to try to destroy somebody else. And
Mhm.
um, and with this whole stop the Asian hate thing, like you said, that's not us doing that. We're not sitting around hating Asians. We're not perpetrating any type of crimes against Asians collectively. I got a problem with the fact that I hear more black people speaking up for Asian lives than speak up for black lives. I got a problem with that. First of all, you want me to jump on board to say stop the Asian hate. Well, let me put this out there first. I'm not sitting around wishing harm on anyone. I don't wish harm on anybody at all, regardless of race. Okay. But Asians have been notoriously known for being just as racist against our people as Caucasians have been.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not ancient history. That's ancient history, but it's also current today history. Like I shared recently this commercial that came out like 3 or 4 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, that was going around Facebook, that was shot in China, where they show this black man flirting with this Asian woman, this Asian girl, and he's walking over to her looking like he desiring her and everything. And when he gets close up on her, she pushes him back and she sticks something in his mouth like a mint or whatever like that. And then she shoves him into the washing machine, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then open the washing machine up. They show like a white T-shirt, a bright white T-shirt, and then he comes out of the washing machine. And at first it was a white man, but they changed it. Now he's Asian. So you had to throw him in the washing machine to wash that black off of him and turn him into an Asian man. So uh, they're, a lot of them are just as racist as white people against us. And it's the whole thing, like when they first came up with that lie that black people are more susceptible to COVID. Those the Africans that were in China at the time, they were abused very bad by Asians in China,
Right.
very badly by Asians in China. And then, that case, which I saw in a documentary that happened, I think it happened in like 1994 or 97, with Latasha Harlins in California, where this Korean store owner shot this young black girl. I believe she shot her in the head, if I'm not mistaken. But she shot and killed this young black girl over a bottle of orange juice. Um, and she didn't get any time. She didn't have to serve a sentence for killing that young black girl. So a lot of these Asians, they get to benefit from so-called white privilege, even though they're Asian, especially when they perpetrate something against black people. And they're also up in our neighborhoods with their stores, and they take money from us and still disrespect us. A lot of them do. Maybe not all, but a lot of them still disrespect us. So um, I'm not going to be out here screaming from the rafters, "Stop Asian hate." Um, and I'm not going to tell anybody to hate Asians either. But like I said, they have been just as racist against us as Caucasians have been, and they still are to this day. Um, so I can't just be out there, cheering for them when they don't cheer for us. When we're the ones being slaughtered on the street, you do not see Asians coming out in droves speaking up for Black lives. You don't see that. So now we're expected to be out here on the street for them, saying stop the Asian hate and bowing down for them when right now in Africa, they're up in Africa right now doing the same things that Caucasians did in Africa. They're up in Africa right now plotting against Africans. Asians are doing that, you know. Um, but like I said, I'm not, wishing harm on anybody. I don't want anything that happened to random Asians. My thing is just that they have been just as hateful towards us
Mm-hmm.
collectively. Maybe not individually, but collectively, they have been just as hateful towards us as Caucasians collectively have been. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and we need to focus on protecting us and healing us first and foremost, before worrying about anybody else. Because when it comes down to it, nobody else, no other races worry about us. Yeah, you have a few people here, minuscule numbers here and there of people from other races who may speak up, but as a whole, as a collective, those other races do not come out and speak up for Black people in droves. They don't do that.
Right.
Um, but we're expected to always speak up for other people when we're often left out there by ourselves to fend for ourselves. You know, and that's how they got us mentally screwed up, because that's another sign of mental illness, because we'll go to bat harder for everybody else than we will for our own self.
Right. And
You
it's a
know.
result. And the thing about it is that's why I brought up the 11-year-old, because they started very, very early. So that's why I brought up the 11-year-old boy in the Catholic school being educated And we understand, that as far as their so-called education, is concerned, a lot of that, is a form of programming. A lot of that, what we get from them and what we endure in these schools, a lot of, the humiliation that we endure in these schools is a form of programming, is a form of subjugation, mental subjugation of who we are as a people. And they started very, very early. Black programming starts here very early. It's pretty much as soon as as soon as we are born, the programming starts and it continues on throughout our lives. And if we don't pay attention to that and pay heed to it, if we don't have, the right, if we, a lot of times we just happen on certain, forms of information that have been deliberately, in a sense, held from us that could, definitely empower us and break us out of these cycles of what I see as trauma, cycles of programming, cycles of the same robotic behavior that you see over and over and over and over again that don't do anything, for us, collectively to empower us. And that's why I brought it up because it starts very, very early, that sort of a thing. And that's why we tend to fend for or defend more people than what we actually, would defend for ourselves and, and really, really put our necks out there for our own unity, that sort of a thing. And it just seems like, I mean, we're going into April now. It happens again and again and again and again and again. Here we go with another mass narration that has us all caught up and all emotional as a people, but yet and still, it does nothing, individually or collectively to empower us. So if some of our sisters, who are here want to build on that, you definitely can. I did unmuted. I had to unmute because I think like when I did the unmute, that sound started coming in. So if either one of Sister Kenya Chase or Sister Kimmy Truesdale wants to build on that, you definitely can. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mute myself because it seems like when I mute it, that sound stops coming in like that.
Well, you know what? Let me switch to my computer. I was able to put Messenger on my computer. I'm going to switch over to my computer real quick so we can see
Okay.
if.
All right. Okay. So Sister Kimberly Truesdale, did you want to build on that? What we're talking about? She's muted. Hold on, let me unmute her.
Sorry, guys.
Okay.
I, I think it's a lot deeper, and there's so much to unpack. I'm trying to find the correct words and terminology to use. I guess I think in our community because there's, and I'm gonna bring up something that my brother said. He said like we see the Asian community in our community. Um, corner stores, liquor stores, hair stores, things of that nature. They're all around in our community, and it makes it harder. But I think it's a tricky relationship between African Americans and Asian Americans because and I'm just going by what I've seen and I can't always speak on my experiences, but when I look into some of our African Americans love uh, for us to have been so westernized, we hold a easternized relationship when it comes to family. Like we're not for ourselves. We're not like, oh, I. We're all about we. And I think that's a beautiful thing that even though we've been in America for so long, we have not been changed to be an I point of view. Even though that's where we really need to be headed sometimes, and worry about ourselves and get ourselves together. But I think it's a very interesting conversation because when we look into those mom and pops, because African American like, what's up, mom? What's up, pa? In the stores, it's funny because you don't see them calling 911, but they let our brothers, do what they got to do in their stores to make money for their families, make money to make a living until they get to the next place. So I find it to be very interesting. it's a very intricate relationship, and I find and through research that a lot of the racism that is very apparent and that is still happening comes from the older generation, and I feel that comes from white terrorism because when they were told to come over here, it was you follow what the white man tells you to do before he sends you back to your country. And I'm not gonna like tell them that that's the reason why they're racist towards African Americans. I think it has played a role. I think it has played a crucial role into how they treat us. Because if you're worried about you don't want to go back to your homeland and you want to stay here in America, all you got to do what the white man tells you to do, and that's what they're told. And I was watching a podcast about how their parents hold so much trauma from you kind of lose your accent. You try to be the best and everything. You don't do no harm. You don't do no danger because the white man going to send you back to your country and you're going to put shame on the country. So if the white man is telling, or the white collector is saying, like, hey, we don't like this group of people, African Americans, the Asian mind is clicking in and saying, I'm going to do the same thing. We don't like them because we don't want to be sent back home and you guys are the enemy. So I find it very tricky, and I'm not making excuses. I think we have. I would be remiss if I didn't bring that part into the conversation because some of them appropriate our culture. As you see, the younger Asian Americans, nails, cornrows,
Mm-hmm.
accents, like talking like this. They think all black girls talk like, and you see it on Love and Hip Hop. The girl named Mimi, but that's who she's been around. That's who she's been raised by, and they have offspring with our African American males. And again, it's a very intricate conversation that needs to happen between the Asian community about why they are the way that they are towards us when we haven't done anything to you guys. We don't we welcomed you guys in. We let y'all in our neighborhoods, and even though they do us a favor by not calling the police when they trying to make their money, they feed you when they help feed you. Some of them do. I've seen my African American brothers and sisters go in their shops with no money and they let it slide and they build a tab, whatever. But something's got to be stopped. They're getting attacked, and like my brother said, in China, what is going on that there is so much hatred and racism over there in those countries. So I had to bring that part of the conversation just to be well balanced in a sense. But I definitely agree with what my brother said.
Mm-hmm. Sister, can you say you want to say something?
Um, Let me see. Well, I just feel like what they did was like Kimberly said, they jumped on a bandwagon instead of getting to know us as people for themselves. They assumed, because if you think about it, when they're at those stores, some of the ones are friendly and some of them already have a perception of what all of us are and where all of us come from. And I noticed that by myself going into the stores, and they start to recognize who works and who does not work and how often they come in the store, so they must don't work, or what kind of budget they have. It's like I just know that there's a, I don't know if it's a stigma or the stereotype, but they just came in on it, didn't get to know us for themselves, and their generations are taught about how we are. And I hate everything about that, because the truth of the matter is we do feed their families. They're in our neighborhoods, and without our money, be it food stamps or whatever it is, we're still feeding their families. And there should be some other type of respect, because we're feeding your families, and then you treat us as if we're below you. But in the same notion, Caucasian people feel as though the Asian people are right below where we are. They don't feel as though that we're too much better. They just take the fact that they are intelligent. They are known for making and creating great things that make what? Money. So it's like there's still no real appreciation for their race, but they may think it is, but it's not. That's because they don't appreciate nobody. I don't mean no harm. Caucasian people just seem like they're very selfish and feel like they are superior, and anything that's outside of them is inferior. And that's just
Right.
how I
Well,
feel.
well, as I said, they don't really truly think that they're superior. Deep down inside, they don't. Because
Right.
anybody who really thinks that they're truly better than somebody else, they don't feel like they're not even
Well,
gonna be
well, of
they're not even
course,
gonna be bothered with trying to tear you down.
but that's bully mentality when you have
Right.
to acknowledge, you have to tell the world. That's just like somebody saying, I'm a queen all day long. I gotta keep saying, I gotta remind everybody,
Right.
I gotta move my neck to make sure everybody know. No, I ain't gotta do all that. If that is
Mhm.
what I am, all I got to do is walk through life and be just that. I don't have to open my mouth and say it. But the fact that the reason I said that they think they are superior is because that's what they want. That's what they
Right.
desire. And the
Right.
fear of us getting together and understanding our trauma and moving past it and unifying in a way and healing our mental stability and making sure we're good, they don't want us to do that because
Right.
they want to feel like they are the race or the people. And
Mhm.
I always feel like this: you don't hold down nobody that's going nowhere. You only try to hold down people that are going somewhere. And if
Right.
our people were not destined to go anywhere, why waste your time setting all these things in place to keep us in a low place, so we won't achieve anything if we're not worth anything, if we're not smart, if we can't achieve the same achievements you can and probably more. You know what I mean? Like, you just
Right.
don't do that. So as a people, we just got to know our value. No matter what they think of us, I really don't care. What I know is our people are strong, and we come from greatness, and we just got to remember all of that,
Yeah,
all of
that's
it.
that's why they destroyed those places, like I said, like Black Wall Street. When we were being very successful on our own, they couldn't
Yeah.
stand it because we were outdoing them, and they destroyed those places because they want to keep us at their beck and call,
Hmm.
needing them.
But
And when
that
they
showed
saw,
them something.
right, it showed them that we don't need them, and that's why they destroyed
Exactly.
it. And then back to these
Independent.
agents, right? Yeah, and these agents in our neighborhoods, like there's this store that's owned by agents in my neighborhood on North Avenue. I've gone in there umpteenth times. I can't count how many times I've been in that store. And every time I go in there, I got to be watched.
Mhm.
You know, I've gone in there multiple times, purchased stuff, never, went in there try to steal nothing. I'm not a thief. I don't go around trying to steal stuff. I didn't
Hmm.
go in there, but every time I go in there, I got to be watched like a hawk, and I hate that. And I don't go in there anymore because of that. I mean,
Mhm.
because you see me come in this store 1,000 times, you know I ain't trying to steal nothing. Why every time I come in here, I got to be watched wherever I go in the store, watched like a
Yeah.
hawk, like you trying to treat me like like you think I'm a criminal with your eyes. I don't like that, and so I don't
Right.
go in there anymore.
And we understand that they were the ones that were put into internment camps. We understand that,
Mhm.
our Chinese people, or so we say so-called Oriental people, during
Asian.
World War, I think it was during World War II, if I'm not mistaken, when
Mm-hmm.
Japan had attacked
Yep.
America in Pearl Harbor, they were gathered up and they were rounded up and they were put into internment camps.
Mm-hmm.
So we understand that the what Caucasian people have perpetrated against Asian people, and that's where the attacks, in light of these last two, well, the latest one that happened in Colorado was he just he's just doing what what Caucasian men do. Sometimes they just get a gun and they just go places and they just kill up a bunch of people.
Mm, mm, mm.
It is what it is. Check their history. When there's no bias going on here.
Oh,
Just
I
check
know.
the history. We get that. This one that happened in Georgia, 6 Asian people were killed, and 2 Caucasian people were killed. He
Right.
wasn't given. He wasn't given a burger. He was not given a burger, but they are pushing this thing that he said that he was a sex addict and they're promulgating that that sort of a thing. But just to go along with where as far as where the conversation is heading, we understand that it was originally Caucasian people who perpetrated murder, who perpetrated genocide and enslavement on so-called Asian people. It was not our people, and we
Mhm.
understand that the programming that Asian people have, is a result of their own erroneous and misrepresented outlook of who we are, and as
Mhm.
a result of Caucasian programming as well. We understand that. So, and we understand that as far as Caucasian people is concerned, it, as far as our programming is concerned, it starts very, very early. They start very, very early downloading these erroneous narrations into who we are and where
Mhm.
we came from as a people. And if we don't, as far as our mentality is concerned, going towards our mental and our emotional health, if we don't reconcile these false narratives and these distortions, they haunt us and they impede our well-being for pretty much for all of our lives, from what I'm seeing,
Mhm.
sort of a thing. But I wanted to, pivot the conversation into something that I did see. It is something that is kind of almost like it's an intra-group thing that's going on with us. And I don't know if you guys heard about this or whatever, but it's just to try to pivot or segue into something else that just kind of caught my attention. I think you did bring it up, Cortez, and it's something about this guy who's coming out. His name is Derek Jackson. He's coming
Mhm.
out with a book,
Oh.
um, and he's trying to sell this book or whatever. Some people are saying that he's in brand protection mode, that sort of a thing. I just wanted to bring up something that really just has something to do with us, related to mental and emotional health. So he has this wife who, from what the reports have been saying, he has been unfaithful to her many times, multiple times. And I've
Hmm.
seen the pictures, and I see the interplay between these two. And to me, it just doesn't look. I mean, from the outside looking in, and this is just observation. It's not judgment. This is just pure observation. I don't know these people. you know, I'm not going to lose sleep over this. Somebody don't get me wrong, but it is something that's important because I tend to see this going on, a lot, amongst our people as far as relationships are concerned. But it just seems like he has this type of control and this type of hold over her,
Hmm.
that sort of thing. And so I wanted if I'm wondering if y'all just wanted to look into that, because
Well,
we were just looking in just briefly. It seems like that his whole aura is just like kind of over her, and she's just
well,
she, she
I
lost
didn't really
control. She just don't, she's just
I
out here trying to whatever.
I
If
did I did
you guys understand where I'm coming from.
yeah, I didn't really watch that video that everybody's talking about where he had her sitting there with him and she's forgiving him for all of his infidelity and everything. But I only heard commentary that other people have made about it, how she seems like she may be in distress and scared of him because he seems overbearing and arrogant. Um, and I can see some arrogance emanating from him, actually. He's full of himself for whatever reason that caused him to be full of himself. And, she seems like she is very weak and timid. And she's using the fact that she's religious to keep putting up with his mental abuse of her,
And emotional,
uh,
and emotional,
and emotional abuse of
and
her.
emotional abuse,
Um,
because you can see it that
hmm.
she's just, her whole aura is just kind of like receded in. He's out, and like I said, this is
Right.
pure observation. I don't know these people personally,
Mhm.
but it
Well,
just
you
seems
can.
like that she's just closed in and being railroaded and paraded in front of, and it just seems like her whole aura is just completely antecedent to that. She doesn't really,
Yeah,
but it's like he's pushing her out here and he's making her the spectacle
well, you can
of
tell
the
that she.
world. And I just see, like, yeah, I do see like some emotional,
Yeah, you
just
can tell.
emotional balance
You
going
can
on
tell
there.
that she's mentally damaged and she has some self-esteem issues. You can see it all over her, and he probably saw it when he met her. That's probably why he picked her, because he knew that he could get away with mistreating her like that. And I don't know who she has in her life that can help try to instill some type of self-esteem in her, but um somebody needs to reach out to that sister and, give her try to put some type of confidence in her, let her know that she deserves better treatment than that. Um, and he needs to go to some type of therapy because he needs help also. Uh,
Right.
the fact that he feels like he has to act like that. Something happened in his life, What you laughing at, Kimberly?
And she's been
Yeah,
laughing.
y'all
She's been
don't want to
laughing the
call him
whole
what he really
time.
is.
What you say?
I don't want to call that man what he really is. Unfortunately, that man is a narcissist.
Yes, exactly.
He is a
That's why.
narcissist.
That's
I
why I
didn't
said he's
want to. I
arrogant and
didn't
full of
want to say
himself.
it. I didn't want to
That's
say it.
well, I said it in other words. That's why I said he's
Yep.
arrogant and full of himself. But
Then
yeah,
look, we
go
gonna call
ahead.
that. Look, we gotta call that man what he is. Like, look. We gonna call that man what he is, a narcissist. And like you said, he does need to seek therapy immediately.
Hmm.
Oh my goodness, it's just so much to unpack with this. I've been on social media following, seeing what's going on. I can't put into words like. You know how when people say like, oh, how Miss Hayes said like, if I'm a queen, I know who I am. I don't have to show it. No, he has to say what he is. That's why.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He talks in third person a lot. It's almost like he has an out of body experience. If you really listen, he talks in third person of this whole thing. It was all in third person. That is the number one sign of a narcissist. It's like they don't
Wow.
take accountability for themselves. They try to say like, oh, he said, yeah, Derek Jackson, cheated on his wife, and he brung his wife out. I'm like, why are you speaking in third person? You have to take responsibility, but because you don't know how to take
Yeah.
responsibility for yourself, you have
Right.
exaggerated self being and being
Mhm.
callous and don't care about other people's emotions. That was the number one sign of a narcissist.
So,
Number
Yeah.
one sign.
Sister Kim, and I don't mean to cut you off because your commentary is on point. Are you saying that when you're saying that that a narcissist always talks in third person, are you saying that they're constantly projecting and just throwing things off? Is that what
Yes,
you mean?
you'll see that sometimes,
Yes.
especially in negative light. If it's not in a positive light, they don't want their attention. If
Mhm.
it's anything negative, anything that demeans them, anything that brings their personality down, because again, narcissists who have to be like this actually have really low self esteem. So
And
anything that's not bringing their self esteem up and he's being dragged all over social media, slandered. He's about to lose his followers. He's about to be canceled. As we say. He's not going to talk in first person because he doesn't want to take responsibility in it because he doesn't want to believe that somebody like him could be going through something like this.
Most definitely. And what's funny is that I saw that video. Do you know that I thought that was a joke? I was like, are they serious? Is this real? I was like, this
yeah,
must be a
it was
joke.
it was it,
I was disturbed. I was like, is this for real? I mean, is this a
Mhm.
prank? I said, are they gonna say, okay, we pranked you guys? I'm like, what is going on here? He
Like,
had like no
like
real
psych.
emotion. It was
Right,
like,
he had no emotion.
yes. And I've heard him speak before, and he's quite arrogant. And he thought he was a catch.
Yeah.
He just outwardly to the world, he showed that he felt like he thought he was the man. But we know that that's not real. I really thought that was not real. I thought that video.
And it's so
I couldn't
crazy.
believe it.
It's crazy. I just want to bring up just another stat that narcissism is more prevalent in males than it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Most
that was
definitely.
Oh,
another
don't
thing.
do that. Don't do that.
There are
Don't
some
do that.
narcissist
Cause
Don't
women
mark that
though.
up for me.
Yeah.
I know some women. I
I
know
know
some
some
sisters
too.
that
Lord
No,
have
I
mercy.
know
are
I do know
full
some
of
No, but
women that
I
themselves.
didn't say
are.
it didn't
Okay.
happen. It's just more prevalent in men.
Yeah,
It is
it's
more.
more.
Should
Yeah,
I write out a list? Should
yeah.
Ah, yeah.
Wow.
I need you to watch the video because then you'll be shocked. Like, I know you're
She
not really
was so
speaking in third
timid.
person.
She was so timid and like just.
Right.
I was like, girl, where's your voice? What is wrong with you?
It's gone.
I really truly think, and I don't mean to cast out on because they do have something called that that's going out on social media. If you guys have seen it, that if she's empathic, she's she for some reason it's the energy of the empath that will attract the
No.
energy
Oh
of
yeah.
a narcissist, and you've seen this.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
You've
yeah.
seen like people keep saying this over and over again. It's pretty prevalent in social media, in the social media world. We don't want to necessarily promulgate erroneous stereotypes here on King Talk. But that
Mhm.
right there, that just seems to be the case because it just seems like that everything in her being is not built for what he's bringing here and where he's pushing her and making her be out here and be the spectacle of everything. And she's just doing the best she can, but it seems like she just, you know,
Well, it
it's like
it
she's
is
just trying to go along just to try to please him in whatever type of way that she can. And empaths do that.
yeah.
Empaths are more geared, men and women.
I'm an empath. I know.
Yeah, I'm
And
an
so am
empath
I.
too.
Empath as
So am
well.
I.
Empaths are
I'm an
more
empath.
geared towards wanting to bring the center together,
Yep.
wanting us to stay together,
Yep.
wanting us to heal, caring
Mhm.
about the relationship, more
Mhm.
so the health of the relationship, more so than what they even care about themselves and their own
Mm,
healthy well-being as far as having love within the self and that sort of a thing. So was y'all seeing that too? Because I was kind of peeping at it like,
Yeah. And
oh my
then there's a
God.
and
time
be,
when you grow up as an empath and you mature spiritually and you realize that mm-mm, you already
well,
did all that and that's
well,
enough.
look,
You ain't gonna burn
well,
yourself out
I
trying to be
Mhm.
something that
right,
you're not gonna be able to be enough of. Ain't nobody doing all that. I
yeah,
know
because
what I'm worth. And see,
right,
I
because
wish I could talk to her. I
see,
tell her, baby, you worth something.
yeah, I like to tell her that too. Look, I'm an empath, and I have attracted some narcissists
Me too.
in the past,
I
a
have.
whole lot of them. And during that, during that time when I kept attracting them, that was before I knew my worth.
Exactly.
And because of some abuse that I went through growing up, I didn't know my worth and I wanted to
Hmm.
be loved and all this and that.
Yeah.
But now I know my worth and I love me. I'm still an empath, but that stuff that they used to try to pull don't go over on me anymore.
Yeah.
And but the danger in being an empath who doesn't know their worth is
Yeah.
it can sometimes get you killed.
It
It
can.
It
does.
can.
Literally.
It
Like
can.
Definitely.
it reminds me of a friend of mine, and Alex knows him too, who
Hmm.
always had this bright disposition, who was just murdered like back in December, a few days before Christmas, I believe it was,
Wow.
by
Hmm.
the name of Brandon Fleming. He
Mm,
always had a happy
Oh
disposition,
yeah, yeah.
and he
Brother.
was in this relationship with this guy, um, who apparently had some issues, some abusive issues or whatever like that, and he kept sticking with this person because he thought that his love could change this person eventually.
Hmm.
Um, and
As an empath,
unfortunately,
as an empath would think.
yep.
Hmm.
yeah, and unfortunately, he hung in there too long with this person, and this person literally stuck a knife in his back,
Oh my
stabbed him
God.
in the back,
Hmm.
Wow.
and he
Wow.
died.
But and I'm so glad that you brought that up,
Hmm.
Cortez, because he physically put the knife in his back. Just
Hmm.
imagine how many times emotionally
Hmm.
he put the
Mm-hmm.
knife in his back.
Yeah.
That's what the empath goes through. The
Yep.
Hmm.
empath will go through many emotional disrespectings and betrayals and trial by
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
fire by
Right.
this by these sociopaths out here
Yep.
Hmm.
before they even get to the point where they just say, okay, I've had enough of you. I'm going to dispense of who you are. Once
Hmm.
they
Mm-hmm.
turn over from narcissist to sociopath, now we're going into something what I would call psychopathy when he put the knife in
Yeah.
his back. But just imagine how many times he put the knife in emotionally and how
Yeah.
how mentally broken down the brother was before he put his knife in that back. That's where I would be looking to as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I definitely agree. As again, I was an empath who I was so afraid of people not liking me when I was younger. I would do anything. And the moment I found out somebody didn't like me, I was like, well, what do I do for them not to like me? How can I change something about myself for them to like me? Woo, jeez, I'm glad I grew out of that because I ain't got time for it.
Hmm.
It was a beautiful transformation. I'm still very empathic. Like I can read the room, I can read feelings, and that's why I'm in mental health because people say I have an aura about myself of healing, but I had to get myself there for it to happen. And so when I see his wife, let me tell you something. And I know people. our community, we make a joke out of everything. We can find humor in everything. People are like, oh, why she got that bonnet on? Why she ain't got her bra on? Well, what does that tell you? Why her hair not done? Why her makeup not done? What does that tell you? She is tired. When the
Tells us
impact
so
is worn
much.
out, we don't care. We're
Yes.
just drained mentally, physically, spiritually. We have nothing else to give. So she may have been on the camera, and he said that it was her idea. He said that she wanted to talk. My thing is that you could have been talked, for the first time. I guess, a narcissist only wants the spotlight for himself. So this is the first time we ever seen his wife ever, and apparently they have a child together. I didn't even know that. You won't
Me
see it.
either. And I've been knowing I know he been speaking for years.
Yes,
Never
and then
heard of his wife.
never even saw a car seat in the camera videos until yesterday.
That's
I'm like,
crazy.
so the attention has to be on you all the time, and now now you want to bring your wife, and like you hold on her hostage so bad because you don't want her to say something that's out of the line, that's not going
Yeah.
to glorify your alter ego. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not getting caught up with what she's wearing because I feel like what you wear is what you wear. That's your personality.
Yeah, but it
But
can tell you some stuff about how she feel.
yep, I said if she what she may say, but body language tells a whole other situation.
Yep. Your mouth will say one thing, but your body language tells the truth.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because it just seemed like she's just so still. She doesn't want to do anything. She doesn't want to like maybe move or gesture or whatever or do anything that might
Yeah.
piss him off or set him off and
Mm-hmm.
that sort
Yeah.
of a thing. It's just it just when I saw that I was just like it affected me. It was as an empath, me
Yeah.
just having that ability to be on the outside of it, but pick up on emotions and gather emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Which of course, when I was a kid, I really didn't even understand it at all. That's why I, a lot of times, didn't want to be around people, and people are so
Yeah.
mean, people are so this or whatever. Just didn't
Yeah.
want to, be able, to do that because I didn't know my whole, my true nature when I was
Mm-hmm.
younger. There was nothing around me that would teach me. Well, this is what you are. You have this ability of emotional discernment where you can
Mm-hmm.
whether somebody's feeling bad or whether they're feeling good,
Yes.
and then you're going to almost intuitively or instinctually want to help them and want to help them out
Yep.
of
Yep.
with as
Definitely.
far as your empathic abilities are concerned. And then of course they didn't tell me that I could have this aura about me that the empath puts off
Yep.
that attracts
Yep.
It's healing.
these types of
Mm-hmm.
It's
monstrous
healing.
these
Yep.
types of monstrous in a sense personalities who would just want to use me and want to roll me into things that's
Mm-hmm.
completely
Yep.
and not good or not healthy for my nature at all
Yeah.
because based on their nature and who
Yep.
they are
Yeah.
Yep.
you
I
know
agree.
I
Yeah.
just wanted to just bring that in as far as the emotional health because I see so many signs now of emotional abuse that's
Mm-hmm.
going
Mm.
on with us as a people. I see it in the memes. I see it in the posts. I see it in the cold, like very, very cold words, that are just thrown out there online, and with no regards of how it affects people mentally or
Mm-hmm.
emotionally. I see it in the gaslighting. I see it in the ghosting. I see it it's just in the baiting and the lies and always wanting to win. You got to win. You got to win at all costs. It doesn't matter who you wound or who you hurt. You just got to win.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sort of a thing. And I feel that within that, and don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with winning. There's nothing wrong, with wanting to have the life, that you design for yourself mentally and emotionally. But the ways that you go about doing that is what, in a sense, that I call into question, because if you got to cut people, if you got to harm people, if you have to do these things to people in order to feel as though that's what you have to do in order to get ahead, to me,
Mm-hmm.
that's not a, for me, that's not a decent way, of being. We
Mm-hmm.
talk about being, emotionally and mentally, healthy, but
Mm-hmm.
yet still we constantly see, in mental and emotional abuse, perpetrated against ourselves, amongst each other as melaninated people, as melanites, And a lot of times that's, the abuse stacks on abuse, stacks on abuse, stacks on abuse. Now we're dancing on abuse. We're trying to get married on abuse. Abuse is now seen as normalcy,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not. It's not. It's something inherently, that that we were rolled into, that just happened to just go for generation upon generation upon generation and not be broken, that sort of thing, as far as our, individual and collective trauma is concerned. So I just wanted just to bring that up, of that sort of a thing, because it was just, very, very, like, I'm like,
Yeah,
man,
like
that's just
yeah,
messed up.
like we've been taught, because unhealthy relationships have been glamorized and popularized in the media, so much so that people believe that stuff now is normal. Uh, and if you were to depict a healthy interaction between a black man and a black woman on screen, where they're not constantly cussing each other out or disrespecting each other,
Mhm.
some people would say that's unrealistic, but it's not unrealistic.
Mm-mm.
I know a lot of black couples, black men and black women together, black men and black women together, who are in healthy relationships, who do respect each other, who show
Mm-hmm.
love to each other every day, who tell
Yep.
each other that they love each other every day. But
Mm-hmm.
they don't want to show that out there in the media.
Not
You
at
know,
all.
they purposely put that dysfunctional crap out there. Um, you know, and like I said, sadly, some of our people believe that that's what normal relationship is. Like you hear people say stuff like, you know, you haven't had good sex until you have makeup sex. You
Makeup,
got
yeah.
like you got to like you got to have an argument. You got to have an
Mm-hmm.
argument and tear each other's head off before you can have real good sex with the person you're in a relationship with. That's crazy
That's
to me.
crazy. Yeah,
That
it's
you have
crazy to
to
me too.
Mhm.
like what's
It-
wrong with you? And that's why I'm very intentional with what I write. You know, Kenya, she's a production manager on We Brothers and everything, and so she's seen the whole script and all that, and so she's seen some of the stuff that I've written in there that
Mm-hmm.
I purposely show black men and black women loving each other,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and being playful with each other, and saying I love you. They show it. I'm intentional with that. Also, you'll see you'll see two black men loving each other as well. But
Mhm.
I just black it's black love. But you will definitely see two black heterosexual couples in this film showing love to each other, and a same gender loving couple as well. And so I'm very intentional to show that. And some people may look at that and be like, "Oh, that's not realistic. They too good to each other. They too nice to each other." But
Mhm.
it is real. I see it for myself every day. But
Mhm.
they're not purposely not going to put that out there to the world. Um, but of course, but of course, when they depict an interracial relationship, most of the time when they depict the interracial relationship, they always try to make that scene perfect on
Mm-hmm.
Right.
screen. The interracial couple never really has any real issues in most cases. Most cases, they don't have any real issues. The only issue that they normally show them having is them dealing with other people, being against them being together, you know. But they're always loving and supporting each other when they're in a racial relationship. They purposely portray that way as well. When we all know in real life, a lot of these interracial couples, they have some knockdown, drag down, out fights.
Mm-hmm.
uh, they don't all get along and have perfect marriages either, and they cheat on each other and everything too. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, and because when you look at, you see that out, and this is another way where we can, we can reclaim, some of our emotional health, because you do see that in the media now, that's constantly being promulgated, is, as my esteemed cohorts just, succinctly brought up, that you do see the swirling, that's going on, that's constantly being promulgated. You can't go up on Netflix without seeing it. You can't go up on Disney Plus, HBO Max, any one of them. You cannot go up on, a streaming service, or, just the regular, broadcasters, the big three, ABC, CBS, and NBC, without seeing, you're seeing it on the commercials, you're seeing it on the shows. They're actively promulgating and pushing, interracial relationships. It seems like they had you got to really really search hard and wide in order to see shows where black people are healthily loving on one another, protecting one another, defending one another, building with one another, that sort of a thing. I've seen that in the media. It's something that's constantly being promulgated. They don't want to reward us unless we're being dysfunctional amongst ourselves, as far as our creative works is concerned. I'll bring up one example. Anybody would say that how Denzel Washington played Malcolm X was Oscar worthy, but of course he didn't get he didn't get he didn't get rewarded for that. He got rewarded for what he played. What was that movie that he played in?
Training Day.
Training Day. That's where he got rewarded for.
Mm-hmm.
That sort of a thing. So when they, for a crooked cop. So when they reward us, for those types of things, that we understand that it sends out a message. It has an influence, whether we want to admit it or not. It does definitely have an influence.
Yeah, like with Halle Berry, she played Dorothy Dandridge, which she did a good job, and she was in some other movies as well.
Monster Ball.
But the one she got rewarded for is Monster Ball, where she was, degraded by this white man, having sex with him, dog type sex with him, and he killed her husband in the movie, right?
Killed her son.
Her son. Yeah, he killed her son.
And the way that they perpetrated their so-called lovemaking was she came in and she was so desperate for him, and it almost had a rapish energy to it. It was very, very in my opinion, it was just like degrading. But of course, Halle Berry got rewarded.
Yeah, she got the
so-called highest honor in the land for your acting and you being a thespian. The highest honor in the land is what she got rewarded for doing this with Billy Bob, old Billy Bob Thornton,
right?
That sort of a thing. He was a racist in the movie as well, who killed her son, and then she goes and she lays down with him, as in a sense, but this is what we want you to be. We want you to be, it's the same type of message. We want to be. We want to reward you for being degraded by us and being subservient to us in a way that doesn't empower you guys at all as a people.
As an actor, there's some roles that I will say no to for reasons like that, and I don't care how much you're paying. Money isn't worth everything. It's not worth your self-worth, your principles, and your core being. It's not worth that. To just sell your soul or sell your spirit, or sell your being to play a role that degrades you. And I personally could not have done that. I would not have done it. I would have refused. Just like I have turned down a role before in a play where they were paying because I didn't want to do the role. And he was like, not even for a paid gig. I'm like, nope, I'm not doing that.
So most definitely. So we're coming up on an hour of our esteemed co-host can't be with us. When did you say that you have to?
Well, it's actually almost 2 hours. No, hour and a half almost.
Yeah. So we have to,
Well, I could stay here until like 8:10 or 8:15.
Right. So I just wanted to, in a sense, expedite things into a solution, because we kind of went into some of what our issues were, in a sense, mentally and emotionally. Let's go into some solutions. How can we build emotional? How can we have and maintain emotional and mental and emotional health and vitality individually and collectively as a people? We'll do that, for what? We got like 15 minutes. We'll go ahead and we'll do that. and then we'll just, you know,
Hmm.
we'll go ahead and
Okay.
we'll call it a night.
Okay.
Okay, so if somebody wants to go, I got some things that I could definitely go into. But if somebody else wants to take the helm and build on how we can do that,
Go ahead, Dr.
go
Truesdale.
ahead, let's go.
Speaking into existence. Well, I think having accountability, not with only yourself, but having an accountability circle. And I know I didn't talk about that last time. I talked about therapy and things of that nature, but I think having a great accountability circle will help you to feed off of somebody, and then you can express yourself. You can tell them about your relationship. You can tell them about things of that nature, and they can hold you accountable. And then there's nothing wrong with cutting yourself off from the world for a couple of days to get your mental health right, to meditate, to do what you need to do to get your chakras aligned if that's what you believe in. Anything to have your needs, your wants, and your purpose all aligned again. It's nothing wrong with cutting yourself off from the world. That's me. If you have to get off Facebook for a minute, you can get off Facebook. Social media
That's
uh, can do a lot. Because sometimes we get so caught up in what somebody else is doing, and that's how I think that's the quickest way to disappointment because we see someone else's life, we see someone else's accomplishments. They're the same age as us. Well, how come I'm not living that life? How come I'm not doing this? How come I'm not doing that? But that's not what is aligned in your purpose. So I think when you shut down from looking at other people, you shut down from looking at other people's life and you stay in your lane and you just get your body aligned and your mind aligned and your spirit aligned. You write the vision, make it plain, and you write down what are your goals, what are your wants, what are your needs, and you access that every single day, whether it be by reading a new book, whether it be by researching some things, whether it be like getting coffee, getting your nails done, hair done, something that makes you feel good inside, that's going to lead to your purpose of being here in this life that we have to live. And I feel like if you hold yourself accountable and your friends hold yourself accountable, and that's going to help you regulate your emotions. If you need to journal, journal. If you need to do like this podcast, I think this is a great idea. And this
Yeah.
podcast can really help you with, okay, so if this is deemed let's just say you're going through depression or anxiety, you can research what ways can I reduce my anxiety. You can go on a podcast that deals with or like today emotional behavior or emotional or mental health. Like, what can I do? What options do they have? What solutions can I have? So
Mhm.
always be open to the next opportunity to get yourself where you need to be.
Mhm. Here we got somebody else coming in here. The our brother, our esteemed brother, Deshaun Farad. He was just coming in
Okay.
He
right
would come in now, wouldn't he?
now. Where's
So
where's she at? Hold on, let me pull this thing back up.
I'm here.
Where you at? Okay, you're there. Okay, so now we
Yeah.
got how you doing, brother Deshaun Farad? We're just going into we're almost pretty much you know through. We were just going into some of the solutions of how we can have mental and emotional health as a people, how we can get it, and how we can have it, and how we can maintain it. Basically, that sort of a thing. So, it's our esteemed guest Kimberly Truesdale laid out a lot of good stuff, that we can definitely do. But if somebody else wants to go ahead and, for these last, what, like 10, 15 minutes and build on, how we can have mental and emotional health, go right ahead. Be my guest.
Hotep family, please pardon my severe tardiness. I don't. It's a long story why I'm just now being able to join you. I'd rather not say what it was from. Nothing tragic, but
You're a
something.
little low.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, turn yourself up a little bit.
I did. It's all the way up.
Oh, there
Now
we go.
you now,
Okay,
now
go
we got
ahead. Go ahead, brother Deshaun.
Hotep, what I said, family, is that please pardon my severe tardiness. I'd rather not say why I'm tardy. It was nothing tragic, something more embarrassing that had delayed me, something annoying, but no one is hurt. But please pardon my tardiness. I actually rushed to get here, had to rush to charge my phone. Uh, but it's always wonderful joining Team Talk. So I don't know what's been said.
you went down again.
Oh, 1 second.
There you go.
What about now? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, you
Okay.
good now.
I don't. It's always wonderful joining King Talk, but as I was saying, please pardon the tardiness. Very annoyed right now, but nothing tragic, but more something embarrassing. Not to me, but something annoying. But anyway, family, I'm not sure what's been said now since I just joined you. So I'll just say, make sure in terms of Black mental health, we have to have Black mental support groups, groups that are based, focused on Black health. I remember when I was an undergraduate in 1999, I had a professor, a good brother by the name of Dr. Sherrill Boone. He taught a course that several colleges have called African American Psychology. You know, we our situation as African Americans, African Caribbeans, but African Americans in particular, we're very unique. Not only are we a new people, when we use the term new African, it's not just discussing a new cultural identity, but also a new social and mental identity. So as a result, I just had this conversation today. Black people are collectively traumatized, and as Sister Shahrazad Ali once told me, after slavery, we were never given any time to grieve.
Hmm.
So
Very
we,
true. Very true.
That makes
so
sense.
Yeah,
so
generational trauma.
yes,
Hmm.
ma'am. So what we have to do is we have to make sure, Black folks, of course, this is one stereotype of Black people that's true, that we don't like to get mental health counseling. Okay, that's definitely, especially Black men. We
Hmm.
see it as a pride thing, whereas white folks and others, they'll take advantage of the free therapy courses. I had that conversation, not therapy courses, but the free therapy sessions. They'll do that.
Hmm.
Or if their job, they'll say, for example, if their job offers therapy, they'll take advantage of that money, that free therapy. Okay, even if they're not, quote, unwell. So Black health definitely has to be, the healing of the Black psyche has to be a priority, whether we come from a therapist background or not. We have to emphasize that slavery was not just us working from can't see morning to can't see night. Slavery was the destruction, or the virtual destruction, of an entire people, and we are still
Hmm.
feeling that.
Mhm.
It's true.
Yes, definitely.
We still
Wow.
remember, as W.E.B. Du Bois pointed out, white supremacy, or as we say, white supremacy myth, white domination, white oppression, it is produced in African Americans, what he referred to as the double consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
schizophrenic personality, how we have to take on a dual personality to survive in white America. We act one way around Black people, our people, and we act another
Hmm.
way around white people to survive. And that's very stressful. But you
Yep.
have to ask
Mm-hmm.
yourself the question, why is it that, with all that we've been under, you don't see us really, you don't see us shooting up malls and shooting up churches and
Mm-mm.
shooting up skating rinks or hotels. There's
Mm-hmm.
something, I once heard a reverend say, uh, Bishop Reginald Jackson of the AME Church. I just saw him at Jamal Bryant's 2-year anniversary, but I've known him since I was in high school. He's also my frat brother. When I was 18 years old, he had spoke at a breakfast, and he was mentioning at that time in 1996 about white suicide as opposed to Black suicide, and he said, you don't really, at that time, you don't find us, killing ourselves like that. He said, we've somehow, with all that we've been through, we've managed to survive. So he said, what is it about that, the Black
Mm-hmm.
psyche, that everything we've been under, we're not just snapping. Now we're flipping out on each other, but we don't take our madness,
True.
for the most part, outside of the Black community.
Hmm.
True. Very
Very
true.
true.
Very, very, very true. And it points to our resiliency. It points to our resiliency and our strength as a people, to be able to endure all that we have endured here as a people. Brother Deshaun Farad, don't thank you for being here, that sort of thing. And we're not even gonna pay attention, as far as being late. You lock right in, because that's really what that's where we're at. So your contribution is appreciated, is what I'm saying. Just
Yes.
just to let you know.
Uh,
Sister Kenya Chase, did you want to provide a solution or solutions for
Well,
how we can
Well,
have emotional and
I
mental
feel
health as
well.
a people?
Sometimes you have to be strategic with trying to heal the minds of our people. Sometimes you gotta trick of it to being health, or trick of it to being healed. And that's why, again, that's why I do what I do with my artistry, because the arts are a powerful tool and influencing the mind.
Mhm.
So sometimes you can put on a particular type play that might have a certain message in it about black self love or whatever, um, to help heal the minds of our people. So that's one of the ways that I would use to get us into mental health care, is by using the art to start to open up the mind by seeing a certain message in a production or whatever, showing black people loving each other, showing how we got to the point where we are now, you know, not just showing us in the state that we are now, but showing where we were, how we got to where we are now, and then how we can get out of where we are now
Mhm.
to get back to the mindset that we once had, where we did love ourselves and love one another. Uh,
Right.
that's what I would do.
Awesome, awesome. And Sister Kenya Chase, I did direct, before my esteemed co-host, jumped in. I did direct that question at you. Did you want to say some things on that too as
I
well?
thought you said my name.
Oh,
No,
that's
I
fine.
said can you, I said can you Chase, but
Oh,
it's cool. It's cool.
I heard Chase, so it sounded like Chase. That's what it was. Yeah.
Well, I think I was going to come from the parent's perspective, or just like having children around you. And just, I guess, as a mother, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to research all of my ancestors, build information for my children. My two daughters, they're about to be 18, 19, and 21. And I'm trying to pass down information about our ancestors. That's what I'm doing. And I think that it is important that we do that. We let them know exactly, trace back your line, your lineage, to see where you come from. And what that does is give them insight of where they're going. So as a mother, I want to say, I keep going to them. They're not excited about it yet. Okay. They're not too excited about it yet, but they listen. But it's gonna, I'm pulling out a wealth of information to compile for my children and their children's children. And I just think it's important that we know where we come from, like who our people were exactly, not hearsay, but actual information about who they were and how they were represented in the time that they lived in. Another thing that I would say is it's important to help people deal with trauma. Like, okay, something happens. My mother comes from the baby boomer generation, and all they were taught to do was to keep it moving. And you
Mhm.
couldn't tell anybody. So we have to teach, like, help our children. I mean, I know they need therapy. That's something outside of the home. But as parents, our job is to talk about the things that happen, put it out there so they have an understanding of what happened so it doesn't damage them. And then they move into life and they're doing things to numb pain that they never addressed, not
Mhm.
even at home. Because a lot of trauma, a lot of kids or a lot of people don't tell their parents. They end up telling somebody that's not even related to them because they didn't feel comfortable being able to tell their parents. Parents just got set a comfortable atmosphere for the children to be able to have a voice. Because my mother came from the baby boomer generation and they had no voice. And so if
Right.
they
Yeah.
don't have a voice at home, what makes you think that they'll have a voice in the world? How, if they don't, the place where they lay their head, where they feel comfortable, if they don't have a voice there and they don't feel comfortable and protected there, then how will they feel comfortable and protected in the world?
Hmm.
How they going to be able to go into the world and be able to handle life when no one has taught them how to do that? Nobody at least talked about the trauma. It happened, you kept moving, and now your body is responding to it, but nobody don't really know how to deal with any of that. But talking about it is a lot better than just ignoring it. And that's what I do with my daughters. Things have happened that have been traumatic, but we talk about them as a whole, and they get to express how they feel, like, because they do have a voice, and I always wanted them to know that they have a voice. That's one thing our people need. We need to know that we have a voice and it's valuable. That's it.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
That
Wow.
was good.
Awesome. That was good. So that to me, that pretty much, that's it. I'm going to, thank everybody who's here, tonight. My esteemed co-host Cortez Ransom.
Thank
Thank you,
everybody.
brother, for your contributions. Sister Kimberly Truesdale, most definitely thank you
Thank
for
you, Dr. Truesdale.
Dr. Truesdale,
Speaking
for
of resistance.
your great contributions.
And it,
Sister Kenya Chase, always thank
Yeah,
you for your energy, for your always powerful commentary,
always. Thank you.
always bringing it home, always, talking, a lot of times, you will always, bring, the health of our kids in, that sort of thing. And I do love that. Thank you for your contribution.
Yeah.
And our special reoccurring guest, Brother Don Sean Farad,
For,
coming in, and laying
Yeah.
the perspective anyway. And
yeah,
Mhm.
like I said, it just we're gonna throw out the
look,
whole as far as late thing is concerned.
yeah,
You came through, Brother Stephon Farad, and did your thing anyway, and we're very, very happy and appreciative
right.
on King Talk to have you, all of you, that sort of a thing. So
Yeah, you came in right on the spot.
right,
That's what
you
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 said.
you
You were
click
right
right in,
on
brother. So we ain't go we ain't no sweating with that. You click right in, and that's when we just we appreciate that at King Talk, most definitely, most definitely. So like to shout out to the fan Marcus Smoot for some of his commentary, for coming through, with some of the family for joining us. Also, family, we would like to say as I start this music, we would
like
like to
and
say,
share.
go ahead, Cortez, what you gonna say?
Yeah, yeah, like and share, and go subscribe on YouTube. And as we always say here on King Talk, let's stop talking at each other and let's start talking with each other.
Most
Listening,
definitely, most definitely, most
understanding.
definitely, most definitely. Let me go ahead and start the little music, and then we gonna go ahead. We will be back with you, family, probably within the 3 weeks. We try to give a build up, before we do these and that sort of a thing. So, like I said, I would once again, I am Alex Ayawas, and
And I am Cortez Ransom.
and we are King Talk, and we are always, happy to have our family here. Just like to thank, our family just once again, Kimberly Truesdale for showing up,
Yes,
Sister Kenya Chase for showing up,
yes.
and our brother,
So
Deshaun for
Sean,
showing
for
up was definitely. And that is King Talk on a
to
Wednesday
all
night.
of you,
Thank
love
y'all
you
for
all.
oh
joining us.
yeah. Bye.
Take
Bye.
care.
I love y'all.
Love you too.
Love y'all. Hey,
I'll say,
all
um,
right,
we'll show again, brother. Just I don't know. I guess if you can get to me early, just go ahead and just give me a call, or we'll pick it
all
up
right.
on tomorrow. All
Okay,
right.
all right. Bye.
All right, family. Take care.